Okay, first thing you want to do, after you've made a nice line drawing, and you want your line drawing to be as big as you can make it on your paper. You want a lot of, you want the shoe to take up a lot of space. Next thing you're going to do is make a shape. So one thing you could do is trace like something big, round object, square object. And what I'm going to do is actually trace this on top of part of the shoe and the negative space around it. So here we go. Okay. Let me just show you a few different options. Okay, let's say this is my shoe drawing. And this is really bad, just to give you an idea of the shape. Okay. You could take a ruler and draw a shape. So you can draw a shape or multiple shapes over your shoe drawing. So let's say I went like this, like in the demo, in the example picture. I could take a ruler like this and just create a section like this. Okay, so the inside area will be done in a cubist style with colors and markers, and the outside area will be done with shading. Okay, same thing if I go back to the original. This area will be colored and stylized in the cubist style, and the outside will be shaded. You could also, how else can I section this off? If you don't have a ruler, you could use anything that's straight, that has a straight edge, like a book. So I could go for, let's say, a diagonal and do that. So the inside will be stylized and the outside will be shaded, right? And this will have the cubist style, right? So that's another way, right? Another option. You could do multiples. So if I go back to my handy circle, okay, my painter's tape, I could go like that, and I could do another section like this. And I do like to pick up pieces of, again, the background and the actual shoe. I could take my ruler again and maybe do something like this on top. Okay. Oop. So these parts will be cubist and these parts will be shaded, right? And the last thing you could do is plop a big old organic shape right on top of the whole thing. So I could do something like that, a nice big blob. Okay, and then again, this will be cubist, and then these parts will be shaded. Okay, so those are just some different options. Okay, I am going to shade. I'll start with that. Let's start with the shading part of my shoe. What you want to do is pay attention to the edges. So I'm going to actually, so everything around and outside of this circle will be shaded. So I'm going to darken the edges, and you can use your finger or a tissue to blend. Just grab a tissue. Here we go. So I can do that. What you don't want to do is And I can erase back anything that needs to be lighter. What you don't want to do is just like gray the whole thing, okay? What we want to do is darken the edges and make sure that things look like they're popping and that they're more rounded. So I'm going to sort of shade like that, okay? Let's go to this curve right here. If you have blending pencils, if you have like a set of drawing pencils at home, you might have pencils that have numbers and letters on them, like 4B, 6B, 8B. Those are really great for shading. They're really soft. The higher the number, as long as it has a B next to it, the better. If it has an H, it means that it's actually not going to shade very well. Those are actually for sometimes used more by like architects when they don't want any shading. It means that it's harder. Okay, so kind of bring the gray. So all along the edges, and I'll just show you a finished picture in a second. Okay, you're gonna shade. So you can see how this is starting to become a little bit rounder and different from the line, okay? I added in the shadow here, and I'm picking up some of the darker spots that are over here. So now I have most of the shoe done, and now I just want to add, like I do have a shadow. Some of you might not. What you can do is add a little bit of ground, a little bit of a something to the background. The other thing you can do is add a nice straight line through the back. So if I go like this, behind the shoe, and then you can have sort of a table that it sits on that I can shade a little bit here. I can even change the direction of my pencil. Always like, and notice I stopped right at the edge of this circle.